FNAF has been around for 11 years now, and in all that time, one of its oldest mysteries has never been solved. In the first game in the series, we were told that the man behind the missing child incident was charged, even though that would not make a lot of sense from what we know about the FNAF timeline. But was this just a simple retcon, or was someone we know charged all along? Today, fellow FNAF theorists, we're diving into that question so we can finally uncover the truth behind who was really charged in the missing child's incident and how it fits into the larger FNAF timeline. But before we go any further, help me and the channel out by smashing that subscribe button like you're after, and let's get straight into it. Many of you already may be familiar with the missing child's incident, but if you're not, here's a quick recap. Presumably in 1985, as it states in the first Fazbear Frights book, Into the Pit, William Afton killed 5 children in the original Freddy's restaurant. Now, we've previously theorized that this could have been an attempt to get back at the co-owner Henry Emily, or part of Afton's twisted experiments with possession and remnant, as we've seen in the Silver Eyes trilogy. Now, this missing child's incident lays the foundation of the entire FNAF story. It kicks off the hauntings, even the ghosts, and even the jump scares. But now here's where things get a little bit tricky. In the first game, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, there's a rare chance that on camera 4B on this wall right here, that a newspaper clipping can pop up, which states, 5 children now reported missing, suspect convicted. 5 children are now linked to the incident at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where a man dressed as a cartoon mascot lured them into a back room. While the suspect has been charged, the bodies themselves were never found. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has been fighting an uphill battle ever since to convince families to return to the pizzeria. Quoted, "It's a tragedy." Now, a lot of you immediately think of William Afton as the man who was charged, and looking over everything, it almost confirms this. The clipping says they caught the man who lured the children to the back room and charged him, so why wouldn't it be Afton? Well, the main argument against this theory is how could Afton be charged and still commit the dead children's incident in the FNAF 2 restaurant in 1987? To figure out that, we might have to do a little bit more digging. Many people immediately assume this is a retcon, but I just don't think that's the case. Scott said that around the time of Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator, he's only made one retcon ever, and I just don't see this being it. Unless the retcon was saying he's only made one retcon, and in that case he might have more than one retcon, but welcome to the rabbit hole of FNAF. Also, I have my own theory about what the real retcon might be, and if you want to see that video, it will be out next week, so make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss it. Another crazy theory I heard that actually could be a possibility is that William Afton was never charged, and maybe someone took the blame all along. Now, welcome to the weird Henry Emily theory, is what I like to call it. Of course, the idea that Henry was charged raises serious questions. For one, Henry is seen alive and not in prison later in the story, so how does that fit with him being convicted? Some fans argue that Henry could have been charged and even in prison for a while, since we don't hear or see much of him until Pizzeria Simulator, which is speculated to take place as late as 2023. Others think the charge might never have actually happened and was just a way to appease the public. On the other hand, this theory completely falls apart when you break it down. If Henry was arrested for a period of time, why would William Afton commit the DCI in 1987? The DCI was another string of murders at a Freddy's location, widely believed to be Afton's revenge against Henry, since by then Afton was no longer part of the company, working instead as a night guard in FNAF 2. This incident took place 2 years after the suspect was reportedly charged, so there's no way it could have been Henry unless he was released shortly after. Also, the newspaper clipping specifically says the man charged was dressed in a mascot costume. And from what we see in the Silver Eyes graphic novel collection and FNAF 3 with Springtrap, Afton wears a spring Bonnie suit. We know this is the spring lock suit used to commit the missing child's incident, as confirmed in the book Into the Pit. Now, let's talk about the third and final theory for this video, that William Afton was indeed charged, but only for a short amount of time. This theory probably raises the most questions from all of you, but trust me when I say this, I think it might actually be the most accurate. I personally believe that William Afton was charged briefly, then released due to a lack of concrete evidence. If we look back at the newspaper clipping, it says the suspect has indeed been charged, but the bodies themselves were never found. That's because Afton hid the children inside the animatronic suits. They only knew the kids were last seen with the man in the spring Bonnie costume, but not that he definitely murdered them. Since Afton led the children into a back room where the animatronics were being repaired, it's likely there were no cameras in that area, so there wasn't enough evidence to convict him fully, or maybe he simply had a skilled lawyer who helped him get released. This theory explains how Afton could be charged, but still free to commit later crimes, like those we see hinted at FNAF 2 and beyond. When we place this theory within the larger FNAF timeline, it really starts to make sense. William Afton being charged and then released explains why the story's horrors continued long after the missing children's incident. Despite the tragedy of losing his own son to the
"Was that the bite of 87?"
possibly daughter at this time, going into prison for less than 2 years wouldn't help him think more clearly. It just messes him up more and more until he starts carrying out more sinister actions. Like in FNAF 2, where he's assumed to be working as a day guard and commits a DCI, to the events and pizzeria simulator in FNAF 3, where he's trying to kill his own son to Springtrap. This also helps clarify why the company kept opening its doors despite the dark history, since the public likely believed the main culprit was way behind bars. This timeline suggests a pattern of cover-ups, secrets, and half-truths that shape the chilling atmosphere of the series, making the question of who was really charged not just a minor detail, but a cornerstone of the lore as we know it. Now, if there's one thing the FNAF community really loves, it's a good mystery, and the question of who was really charged in the missing children's incident is no exception. Some fans think the newspaper clipping is a clever hint Scott added to tease us, while others believe it's a red herring meant to throw us off. There's even debate over whether this piece of lore is canon or just atmospheric storytelling. What's clear is that these discussions keep the lore alive and the fandom engaged, making FNAF's world all the more immersive. Again, as a quick reminder, as for the idea of a retcon, Scott has mentioned he has only made one major change to the timeline, and it's not what most fans think. I'll be diving into that video coming next week, so make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you don't want to miss it. It's a revelation that could change how we see the entire FNAF story. So what do you think? Was it William Afton who was charged and later released? Or could it be someone else entirely? FNAF's lore is full of twists and turns, and these mysteries are why we keep coming back. Drop your theories and thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from you all. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more FNAF content. Thank you for watching, fellow theorists. Make sure to stay spooky out there.